we're going to begin with The Athletic, my favorite outfit. Jeff Howe used to be a Patriots writer, now covers the entire NFL. He was on Colin Cowherd's show yesterday, and he had good news for those of us that would like to see a Brady reunion in Foxborough.
So who is he going to look at? Of course he would be gravitated toward his hometown 49ers. I think he would also be gravitated toward Josh McDaniels and the Raiders. And I'm not willing to rule out a potential return to the Patriots. I think at this point in his career, familiarity is going to be important.
Familiarity is going to be important. You can remove McDaniels in the Raiders. I don't think Josh will be there, and I don't think they're that close anymore. You're going to have to fight off the 49ers. That is a great venue for him. It makes sense because of his parents. The team is ready-made, far more talented than the Patriots are right now, and he can just totally beat Jimmy G again by being the guy that replaces him to let them win another Super Bowl.
Would Bill do it, though?
I think if Bill Belichick really wants to have a nice ride into the sunset with his sons, setting them up for coaching success, don't you want to have a quarterback you can rely on to not make mistakes?
Right. But do you think Bill pays any attention to the Tom, the Tom versus Bill, and Tom Brady was more responsible for the success here because he went on to win a Super Bowl. Bill had, do you think he cares about? You don't think?
No, not as much. I think he thinks about it, but I think the biggest thing for both Bill and Tom is how can I win a championship? I think that's the most important thing. Is what's the?
Well, Bill wants to beat Shula. I think a championship would be gravy, but I think it's not the most important thing for him right now.
I mean, somebody yesterday, I think a caller said the Niners don't work because he wants to be near his kids, but I don't know that matters during the season to him.
I think it matters a little bit.
You do?
Yeah, and if he could be close to at least, is it Jack, who we think might be going to the school
in
around
Western
here?
Mass, yeah.
If he could be close to one and at least be on the same coast as the others, I think that's probably going to be pretty important to him. And I understand he has all the money in the world. He can do a private plane. Mm-hmm. A flight is a flight. He still is a businessman, and a flight from San Francisco to Miami and then to Massachusetts or New York, wherever Jack will be, that's a lot. That is a lot for anybody, whether you're Tom Brady or not.
It's basically a 5-hour trip, though. Like you and I driving to New York, it's about 5 hours. For Brady to get his kid across country, it's the same time.
Yeah, it's not like he's got to, lay over somewhere or he's got to wait for, TSA. It's with Brady, it's more about how or where can I go that I'm going to have the best chance to win a championship. And I think the rest of the NFL is looking at okay, if we're close and we add Brady, can he help us win a championship very similar to what he did in Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay wasn't this juggernaut team in the sense of when he went there, they had went 11-5 and he was just a miss. I think they missed the playoffs with Jameis Winston and they were maybe 7-9 at the time.
Right, but the defense was really, really
good. Yeah, the defense came on. It came
on
at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And they had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
I just think that the Bill versus Tom, when it first all happened and they split, I'm sure in both of their minds they wanted to prove something. But as time has gone on, Brady has realized how influential Bill has been on him and how terrible you can have for a head coach. And Bill has realized how influential Brady's been on him and an entire team. And I think that it would be a no-brainer for me.
Well, similar to what Ty said,
either of them.
If does Tom look and go, okay, if I go back to New England, they have enough for me to be in a position to win a championship.
Could you get Odell to come with you?
I mean, I don't know if Odell's enough, just Odell by himself. But that's the question. So if you're Tom Brady, let's just play this game. If you're
Is Tom Brady enough? Like
by himself, probably not. Right? So that's why I'm looking at in this situation, if you're Brady, you're looking, or if you're a team, you're looking going, do we have enough? If we add Brady, we can win a championship. If San Fran...
So, just side note, if Tom Brady is not enough, if the greatest all time is not enough with what you have on this offense, why are you all over Mac Jones all the time?
Because Brady here puts you in the conversation. You might not win a championship, but you are a competitive team in the playoffs. He might get you there, but you might not win it. If you look at San Fran, if you add Brady to that team, did they have an opportunity to win a championship?
Yeah.
If you add Brady to Tennessee, did they have an opportunity to win a championship?
Yeah.
to Miami. So those are the things you got to start looking at. What
BC might make a bowl with Brady.
like if you added Brady to the Raiders, do they have enough to win a championship?
Not with that boob as a coach.
But see, I would say yes because of the talent they have. They have arguably one of the top 5 tight ends in the league in Darren Waller. They have probably the best wide receiver in the league in Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow. So we know offensively, we've seen him win championships with great offenses and defenses that weren't great. So we know you put Brady in Vegas and he has a relationship with McDaniels.
Yeah.
They have enough.
So if the reunion doesn't happen between Bill and Tom, who would you say would bore the most responsibility?
Oh, we were doing so well.
Would bore.
What?
That's
Is that
No,
past
no,
tense?
no.
Would? Present
would,
tense?
meh.
All right.
It sounds good.
It
Will?
doesn't.
No, Will
What's next?
Will
Curtis?
bore?
Will Bear.
I'm bored.
What's next?
We are going to go to my favorite podcast, Draymond Green. I listen to this guy every day. He's got nuggets of joy. I just think he's wonderful. He's not in love with himself at all.
Yeah, a good teammate too.
Oh, just the best. And not a me guy,
Good
a
practice,
we guy.
Good practice guy.
Really, he's a glue guy. He talked about hearing a slur during the NBA Finals at the Boston Garden on Complex.
I've never heard an entire gym, like, every time I touch the ball, or I don't have the ball.
Right.
Entire gym, you, Draymond. I thought that was cool. That didn't rattle me. But when I'm running down the court and it's, bitch, it's the N-word, those are insults at my character.
Right.
Those are insults to me as a man.
So I'm sure this will get national attention today. There's a couple stories about it. My question would just simply be, in the middle of that finals where it was Draymond versus the fans, why wouldn't he have told the entire world what he had just heard?
Yes, it's interesting that he says it now.
Right.
Yeah.
He don't like bitch either, huh?
I guess not. Oh,
feel like
hopefully
that's-
he doesn't run into that NBA ref that we were talking about the other day.
I mean, listen, and I've said this before. Probably a few people that said it to him. I don't.
You don't doubt him?
I'm not going to doubt him. I mean, it's probably because we know there's jackwagons everywhere, so I could see a few people, dropping the N-word or bitch or whatever. But I mean, I guess now in the society, it's like if you had an issue with it, and Draymond is a very vocal person, he would have said it right then and there, right? Like after the game or after the finals, like, I didn't like how I think, because even that's what Kyrie did, in that moment. So.
Yeah.
Right. When the emotions were at their highest, Kyrie said that. When the emotions were at their highest and the whole world was watching, Draymond decided, I'm going to go wait for the Complex podcast in 6 months.
Well, that becomes, those are the issues I think a lot of people have with certain things. It's like, why wait so long to bring something up? If it bothered you in the moment, shouldn't you have said it in the moment?
Yeah, sometimes though, if you're Draymond, you're like, I don't really want all of the attention to be.
What?
I'm being honest. You guys, they won, didn't they? I don't want to take away from that because I want to call Boston Celtics fans racist. And then you sit on it, you stir on it, and then all of a sudden you're in the first episode for Complex, and you're gonna make a headline by saying it, and you're like, this is gonna be, I'm gonna call it out now.
Yeah, but he was saying how he heard the fans during the finals.
Yeah,
and he saying in the moment when the finals was going on, he was talking about them calling him names and his chanting stuff at him. So in that moment, when you're during the fight, you already have the attention on you because you're bringing up the fact that the fans might be getting into your head a little bit. Why wouldn't you then be like, yo, I heard this?
All right, last one on They Said It Today, Curtis.
Yeah, so from the N-word to the T-word, Tommy Curran was on his podcast discussing Mac Jones's comments right here at WEI with Merlone, Fourier, and Mago, and the interesting point of Mac Jones calling out the toughness of the offensive line.
To hear Mac Jones cite mental and physical toughness on the offensive line during his WEEI interview, I don't really ever think I ever heard that broached with the offensive line when Dante Scarnecchia was here.
So what did he say? He said
he questioned he was on with the afternoon show and questioned essentially the Did he use the word toughness though, Curtis?
He did, and he included himself. He said we all have to be tougher on the O-line.
Yeah.
Like, so he wasn't, specifically
Okay.
pointing a finger.
All right.
But it was very interesting that I hadn't combined those two things, but it certainly is true that of all the mistakes that the coaching staff that Bill did in assembling the staff, having Matt Patricia be the offensive line coach and play caller seems to have been a mistake.
Yeah.
That's not a good move, though,
What?
for you to question your O-line's mental and physical toughness.
Yeah. Well, he included himself.
Yeah, it doesn't
He's
matter,
not
though.
wrong, by the
no,
way.
but he might not be wrong,
I don't
but
know. Toughness doesn't seem like the right word.
Well, that's what you said he said.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is it an issue of toughness or is it an issue that they just can't figure out how to block for the kid?
I'm just basing because here's what you should do. It's more about I need to be better. Mm-hmm. We as a team need to be better. I need to be more mentally tough. We collectively as a team might have to be mentally tough. But when you start picking position groups, you go, our receivers need to be mentally tough.
Wiggy, we sat here and ripped Brady for going on the sideline
Yep.
and going up to his O-line and say, you guys are better than this. You need to
Right.
figure it out. Yeah. So,
And Brady is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
When you have a guy who really hasn't done much in the NFL, basically calling you out if you're a Trent Brown or a Marcus Cannon.
But he's right.
We're not disputing whether or not he's right or wrong.
because he might feel that way and they might feel, hey, we're doing the best we can, pal. Like,
They
and
might-
you got to figure out
No.
your S too.
You know what they're going to say?
Doing the best they can at what? Being penalized?
No, Greg, what they'll say is get rid of the ball quicker.
Didn't we say when Bailey Zappi was in, like, oh, the O-line figured it out? Everyone's just started clicking at the right time.
The problem is when you start to kind of point the finger at specific groups, they'll say, well, what about the times we do have a good blocker for you? Get rid of the ball quicker or, make the right decision. I'm just saying that's a slippery slope when you start to, especially, I mean, we sat here and criticized Aaron Rodgers for doing it.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is a 2-3-time MVP?
I mean, we criticized, I don't know if you mentioned this because I was looking for sound, we criticized Peyton Manning for saying we had protection problems in the playoffs. That was like a national storyline.
Wiggy, you had a wild card team.
Yes.
When it comes to where Tom Brady may end up next season.
Now, this is a team that I think gives Brady all the things that we talk about. He has a relationship with this guy, a pretty good relationship with him in the sense that they worked together for New England before. The team, pretty good football team, the New York Football Giants.
Ooh.
He worked
Nobody's suggested that in any of the discussions.
Nope, because nobody's got a mind like mine, right?
Yeah.
So him and Dayball was obviously here when I was here. He was with the Patriots from 2000 to 2006, and then back in 2013 to 2016. Dayball is kind of that really. We know what he is as a quarterbacks coach for what he did with Josh Allen, but he has that personality of very good players coach. He's probably similar to what Brady's relationship is with Byron Leftwich right now. Look at what he's done for that organization in New York. Their defense is pretty good. They have Saquon Barkley. You can easily find pieces at the wide receiver position. What's their biggest issue right now with this Giants football team? They're in the NFC, so you don't have to deal with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and when you look at some of the on-the-rise quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, they're all AFC guys, right? The only one you really got to concern yourself if you're in the NFC is Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Dak and Jalen are two decent quarterbacks in that
Well,
division.
I would say Dak and Jalen, but have they proven themselves, maybe Dak a little bit more than Jalen Hurts, to be at the Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen or even Joe Burrow level just yet? Maybe Dak is probably the only one.
Dak's paid like it.
Yeah, he's definitely paid like it. But I think this would be a great fit, and you're close to your kids. And don't you got a couple places out in New York?
Yep.
If he wins the Super Bowl this year, Tom Brady, is there a chance that he does not play again?
If
Yes.
he wins the Super Bowl this year? No.
I think if
He's
he
still
wins,
going to
he's
play.
done.
Yeah.
I'm
You
going to
don't think-
retire if he wins it all.
You don't. You don't think maybe a little bit he regrets not retiring
Nope.
after he won it that first year down
Nope.
there?
Nope, because
I think he does.
if the biggest
I think he has to.
if
Yeah.
the biggest issue in his relationship with Giselle was somewhat pot the football and you get a divorce, why would you then retire knowing that the biggest issue and what made
Because he knows the odds are the older he gets, the less likely he is to be able to win one. So if he wins one this season, you guys were talking earlier about how clear the path is for Tom Brady to win another Super Bowl. I like. Don't you think that he'd have to think about giving it all up and going out as a winner?
Of course.
He's addicted. This is
Right.
his drug. And he noticed when he stopped preparing in the offseason for a month how miserable he was. So I agree with you, Greg. I would say, we finished second and I was ready to retire. I mean, I'm a little bit, my ceiling's not as high. But I would say this is something that it keeps him going. It's his life.
And what's the greatest satisfaction for an athlete? It is winning, right? But even when you're that competitive, there's another level. The greatest satisfaction for an athlete is showing that you can take teams, different teams, and win championships. So he's already proven he could do it in New England. He did it with Tampa Bay. Now the satisfaction that he would get is, let me show the world that I can do it with another organization. I still have the passion for the game. Like, that's what drives Brady. That's what drives any great successful businessman is in their mind. They feel like they can save and rejuvenate any business to a level where it's one of the top businesses.
You mean like Elon Musk and Twitter?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if that's
going really well.
That's really
Yeah.
cooking with gas.
Crushing it.
But that's the mindset like somebody has, like, let me show that I can, this team is down, let me show how I can elevate them and get them to where they can be
But there's a chance that
champion.
he can't. And that
Do you believe he thinks that, though?
that's got to seep in a little bit.
Not with him. Not with his competitiveness. There's no chance.
Would you have said that Greg had a chance at your wedding beforehand?
Yeah, just wasn't the girl that I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Who was the other one?
Well, I didn't have one in mind. I just
okay.
And like Greg,
thought it was going to be one of my parents' friends, not one of mine.
and like Greg,
Talk about misreading the room.
Yeah.
Greg and Brady similar. So now he
Right.
went to your wedding and
Marconi winner.
He went to your wedding and conquered. So you don't think he wants to go to another wedding
Yeah.
and conquer
I
again?
know. Yes.
That's what Brady wants
This
to
weekend. Anybody getting married this
do.
weekend?
Shime's people.
I know. I could fly right out to Vegas.
Yeah.
It's a challenge that you want.
Yeah.
See?
It's like wedding crashers.
Yeah, it's a challenge. See? That's
You
what
could do
Brady's
that,
doing.
Greg.
That's what Brady's doing with football teams. They're basically girls that he smashed.
I have unconfirmed reports from Vegas that Shime just proposed at In-N-Out Burger.